Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mr. Noah, and I wanted to thank you guys for making me a part of your day. All right, so I've been getting a lot of questions on these, so this is going to be talking a little bit. Let me see if I can write this down. So every time I do this, let's go to here really quick. Monthly payment. So for some strange reason, it is very difficult for me to write with this wireless mouse. But at work, or where I used to work, it's pretty easy for me to do it. I think it's the elbow thing, because my elbow. Okay, so monthly payment. We're going to talk about how to calculate this, and I might need a few pages for this. So let's go ahead and bring up this formula here. So here is the formula for calculating a monthly payment, total repayment, and finance charge. We're actually just going to talk about the monthly payment portion because my mouse is right there. Okay. We're just going to talk about the monthly payment because that's kind of the hardest part. All the other stuff's easy. You just multiply by the number of payments you make and then subtract the principal out. But this formula right here is kind of the big crux of everything. For those that don't know, installment loans basically means they terminate at some point. So like a car payment or a mortgage. Mortgage is actually the same. It's slightly different vocab, but it's the exact same formula. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to pull this to the side, and I'm going to read you this problem that we had. So on this problem right here, it says Shelby obtains an installment loan. So installment. So looking ahead, revolving loan is like bad. That's like a credit card. Revolving can indefinitely be. We'll get into that. I don't want to talk about that right now. But she's going to buy a plane for 20 grand, $20,000. Her down payment is 25%, and the APR is 12% for 30 months. Okay, so this is kind of weird because typically I don't know anybody that would buy. But let me write some things right here. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. Okay, so we'll say it's $20,000. Okay. For a plane. I don't know if that's a lot for planes, but it seems like a lot. I don't know. Down payment, so I'm going to go ahead and put DP is 25%. APR is 12%, which is kind of high. I don't know if that's... See, with this problem, I don't know if planes are the same as cars, but that's kind of a high APR. And then we go 30 months. Okay. All right. So on these questions, we need to figure out what the down payment. So we're going to go ahead and calculate the down payment first. Okay. Oh man, this is a little bit harder than I remember. You know what? Okay. So the down payment is going to be these two numbers right here. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we need to figure out how much we need to put down. It's kind of the term putting money down. So we're going to go 20,000, and we're going to multiply that by 0.25. Now, one of the mistakes is that students use 25, so you got to change it to a decimal. Okay. So it's 0.25. Monthly payment is going to end up being 5,000. Okay. Actually, no, I don't want to use that color because that's going to confuse you. Okay. So I know what I'm going to do. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay. So this is going to be 5,000. Okay. So that's the down payment. So we'll say that this is the first answer. Okay, that's the first answer. Okay, the second question is that the amount financed. So this is going to be essentially the p value, the new p value. So we'll go AMT financed. This is harder than it looks. You know, I need to get one of those little boards. Okay, all right. So the amount financed is going to be the original cost, which is 20,000. So if you write this underneath, this will be the cost. and then we're going to subtract the down payment. Okay, that's why I wanted to change it to red, because usually red, when I write it in class, it means subtraction, right? So we're going to say, so when you subtract these two, it's going to be $15,000. Okay, like that. Okay, and they have dollar signs, but it's so small for me to write in there that I can't. Like, I'm going to get carpal tunnel from this one video, right? Okay, so those are the two things right here. So this is actually important because this is going to be our p-value. And that's going to be real important on what we're going to do for this formula right here. Okay, so what we have here is the original formula. Okay, I'm going to fill all these things out. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's go ahead, and this is kind of how I used to write it out in class. Okay, so I used to go P T. Well, they use different letters, so let me go move this out of the way. P T R N. Okay, so in this case, they actually use a different letter than what. So term, T usually means term, right? But in our little thing, and you can interchange them. Okay, it's actually a capitalized, italicized Y. Okay, so they use a different. I use the letter T for term, but this is basically the same thing. So T is equal to Y. The principal that we're going to borrow right here is going to be this value right here. Let me go ahead and erase that. Okay, so that value right there is going to be 15,000. We're basically borrowing $15,000 from the $15,000 from the bank. Okay, so the T in this value right here, or the Y, I guess would be the better one, is that, why do I put 10? Why do I have 10 right here? Oh, this is a different problem. That's why I'm looking at this problem right here. Like, let me see. I'm looking at this problem that I have right here, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put all these things in. Okay, so the rate right here is gonna be what is APR. Okay, so we're gonna put 0.12. All right, and then N is gonna be the amount of times it's compounded right here. Okay, so we're gonna go. Let's see. 12. Okay. Now here's the thing about, okay, so let me go back to this thing right here, okay, because this is what's going to confuse you. Loan term in years, okay? So we have the loan term as 30 months, okay, which is basically, here's kind of this an aside. Okay, let me go ahead, freeze this, okay? This has to be in years, which is why they have the Y here. So if we had, I'm going to come back to this, don't worry, okay? So if we had 30 months, I want to express that into years. And here's kind of the, if you had to use dimensional analysis, this is what you would do, okay? So you put this over 1. I know, basically what you do is you divide by 12, okay? Well, I'm going to show you guys the correct way to do this, okay? So here's 12 months, 1 year, and we are going to essentially do that. Cancel. You're ending up with 30 over 12, and then the years left. Okay, so we put that back over here. So when you do this, it'll be 2.5, right? Because it's 12, 12, and 5. So this will be 2.5 years. This is kind of rare because you typically don't borrow money in that kind of, you wouldn't do it like that, okay? So when you have that, you have 30 divided by 12 is equal to 2.5. And I'm going to go ahead and use this as the Y value now, okay? So let's go back and put that right there. Okay, so what did I say was 2.5? Okay, so we're going to use all of these numbers right here. And I'm going to have to use, I'm going to have to do, I don't know if I might run out of room, okay? So PMT is kind of like the hard part. This is the part that we want to find, okay? And so if you look at this formula, I'm just going to fill it in. So if you need this formula, freeze it right now because I'm going to go ahead and just fill this in. And because I'm going to run out of room, I already know it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like, here's the, if you can see it, that right there is going to be 15,000. The APR right there is going to be 0.12. The end value is going to be 12. And then this Y part is going to be 2.5. Okay. So I'm just going to put all those numbers in there. Right. So P value is 15,000. You should write this along with me, right? Times the APR, which is 0.12 divided by 12. They should have made those numbers different, just so you don't get confused. Okay. Brace 1 subtract 1 plus 0.12 divided by 12. Let me go and put this right. That's actually important right there. Negative n, which is going to be minus 12. And then y. So y is going to be 2.5 right here. Okay. All right. So we have that right there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to actually move this because I'm going to need this later, right there. But we're going to go ahead and calculate. Oh, whoops, got to put that. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do it the long way because what's going on here? I'm getting a phone call right now. Okay, so we're going to do the top part. So basically, in my calculator, what I'm going to do is type in 0.12 divided by 12 times 15,000. So if you do this with me, 0.12 divided by 12 times 15,000. You get 150 on top. So what I'm going to do is go to a new page. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to a new page. So we said payment. Actually, do I have a calculator? I think I have a calculator. Can I just bring up the calculator right here? You know what? I'm not, because I don't have a calculator. I have Mac and PC. Okay. So what I'm going to do, type this in with me. You can hear me clicking the buttons, right? I'm going to go 0.12 divided by 12 equal sign 0.01 times 15,000, and this is going to be the numerator. So the numerator for our new payment is going to be 150. Okay, so that'll be 150 right there. Okay. Now, for order of operations, we actually have to do this part first, and then we do this part right here, and then we add that right there. So I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and rewrite this as negative 12 times 2.5, which is what we had already. It's going to be negative 30. So let's go back over here, okay? So you're going to have 1 minus 1. Okay, so this is going to be 0.01 right here, okay? So this part right here is going to be 0.01, okay? And then this part right here is going to be negative 30. Okay. Now, when you get good at this, you won't have to write all of this stuff out because you'll be able to do this in more than like clean it up in a bunch of steps. But that's what we have right there. So what we're going to have to do now is let me just do this really quick. This will be 1 minus 1.01 to the negative 30 right there. So essentially what we're going to do is this right here and then subtract. So a lot of students, they messed us up right here. The negative part doesn't matter because you have to do the exponent first, right, in order of operations, and students really don't do, they always mess that part up. So all you got to do right here is type in 1.01, 1.01 to the negative 30, okay? So that's going to be, I'm going to put this 1 right here, okay, right there. And that's going to be 0.74. I'm going to take it out pretty far, 7419, okay? I'm going to take it out 4 decimal places, okay? Then we have 150. 1 minus 0.7419 is going to be 0.2581. Okay, getting close. Okay, now I'm going to take 150 and divide it by 0.2581, and it's going to be 581.17. Okay. The actual answer is 22 cents, but this is close, okay? So that is your, and that equals PMT. Okay, so that's how much this is how much Shelby has to pay a month. Okay, so that's going to be that part right there. Okay, so that's probably the hardest part, because once you have this number, everything else is pretty easy. This is in the way right now. Okay, all you have to do now, if they want to find the total amount repaid, so let me go in right here. Total amount. I didn't think this video was going to be this long, but we'll go ahead. We'll bear with it. Total amount is equal to this number, which is 581 multiplied by 30. You're probably wondering why I said 30, right? Because like, how many payments do you have to make, right? 30 payments. So you're going to multiply that by 30. And this is going to be 17,436. 435, okay. 17,435.1. So that's how much you pay back, like for the amount you borrow, okay? And then the finance charge is going to be, oh, that's a terrible handwriting right there. Is going to be this number right here, which is 17,000. And then we're going to subtract the principal. So if you go back all the way to here, our principal was 15,000, right? So we're going to take, because that's how much we're borrowing. Okay, so we're going to subtract 15,000. So we go minus 15, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be 2,000. 435.10, and that's your finance charge. Okay, so that's how you calculate that problem right there. Okay, so obviously when you guys get good at this, you want to do that as quickly. And we're going to move to using calculators for this, because there are tools and calculators that we can use for this in class. And but you have to know how to calculate it by hand too. Okay, so other than that, let me know what you guys think. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Goodbye.